I detailed how big the outside economy is, how small the current crypto space is. Even though getting near a trillion is certainly big, I said the overall picture were orders of magnitude going to be bigger once the crypto market reaches a critical mass, which part of it could be with the downside movement of the dollar, as I expected, because this proves what I've been talking about. I mean, there's not much denying it once you look at this chart carefully. It's possible there could be some reversal, but I don't see it happening at all. In fact, I think it's gaining more momentum in this direction by far. I mean, there were a couple of jokes of people when the stock market was dropping by 1,000 points in a day going, oh my gosh, the crypto market looks rock solid compared to the stock market. Well, that is a joke, but it's where the trend can go. Now, by the way, a free market moves somewhat aggressively. Stock market is not a free market. Somebody, I'm not sure who I had a conversation with about where I said the cryptocurrency market. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't quite tell. At a later date, I'll check it. I don't want to zoom in right now because I lose my whole screen when I do that. But it's not, and I would suggest it's really not all that important because basically you're looking for the trend. At the earliest that could be is 2009. Okay, that's the earliest it could be. But it's not, even if it's 2012, it's still the same trend. And when you have that many years, you're probably in a pretty good shape. But so that's really a critical theme that I'm working on. So let's see. So DXY down means this. So BTC would rise at an exponentially higher rate. Now BTC alone would rise at an exponentially higher rate. However, the knock-on effect of BTC rising is that you get a scale higher for all the other cryptocurrencies because they're priced in BTC. At least they are now. That's not to say that they will be in another month or 2 months, because I know that there's a lot of currencies now being priced in Ethereum, some being priced in BCH, some being even priced in LTC. So there's a lot of variability. Some of the exchanges like KuCoin and Binance are pricing in their own tokens, which I think is kind of wonky. Some are going with Tether, which again is also wonky. We're going to talk about that a little bit here. But basically, you've got 21 million BTC to absorb trillions in dollars and bonds. Now, tack on Litecoin, which is still, not very many. Tack on Ethereum, which is certainly more. Bitcoin Cash, not very many. Dash, not very many. And a few others. And you can see how it is a river attempting to get through a 2-inch nozzle. That's what the crypto space is. It's a river of currency through a 2-inch nozzle. And by the way, every single country, with the exception right now of Japan, who's supposedly tightening, but every single country, like the Chinese, are pumping out so much excess currency and debt into their system that they're debilitating their yuan as well. So if the Chinese are willing to risk it, use VPNs, get outside the Great Firewall, they too will participate, as will the Koreans and all the other ones. We're talking about just a watershed moment that is quite possibly right around the corner and even beginning like as we speak. So all the cryptos in my opinion, in the top tier will get the initial impact. As people gain experience, they're going to go with what they've heard of first. As people gain experience, they'll drift lower and lower and lower into the market. But why miss the first wave, right? Why miss the first wave? But it'll be the top tier that gains most. And it's as I consider it, the ideal replacement scenario for installing FedCoin or similar, because it's almost like the hand of the bankers is forced, as opposed to where a moment where the dollar keeps rising and people are happy. If the dollar's destroyed, people are stressed out. They've caused blood in the streets, so to speak. Now the powers that be, the Fed and central bankers would force this on people because they've caused such massive mayhem. Keep in mind, most of you are rare people. Most people are not involved in cryptos. And so they don't understand what cryptos can do. And they don't understand the power of us having our own currencies that we can pick and choose, take with us where we want. If you want, you pay taxes. If you don't want, it's hard to find you. I mean, that's blunt. I'm speaking bluntly. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying most people aren't in your shoes, and they will get swept up in a currency collapse. In fact, a lot of people are already beginning to experience, food prices are going up and things like that. That happens at a far faster rate. I remember visiting Israel many, many years ago when we're eating breakfast. And as we're eating breakfast, there was a sign on the wall with the conversion rate from the shekel to the US dollar. And as we're eating breakfast, they're coming in and putting new signs up on the wall saying it's going to be this much more. Okay, it's going to be this much more. You literally had to pay for your meal the minute you ordered it, because an hour, half hour later, an hour later, it could be 20% more. No joke. No joke. And the same thing, of course, is going on in Venezuela and all over the place. So that's what it feels like. And cryptos can get us past that. All righty. So now let's talk about some solutions and how this... Wow, I have more slides than I thought I did. Oh, boy. Better get going. All right. I think gold and silver are actually going to play a role in crypto. And though I traded gold and silver, I'm very familiar with the market. I am not what I would call... I don't get attached to investments for the most part. I'm very rational how I evaluate it, but I suggest strongly that gold and silver could likely play a role because we've got the issue of stability. And I think there's already some talk about it. I'm going to show you there's some things going on behind the scenes that are already playing into this. So Asia's already accumulating gold. They're number one producer. Russia's up to number 3 producer. They all know what's going on. Asia and Russia know what's going on. And somebody had asked, what is China doing with all its reserves, dollar reserves? First of all, it stopped accumulating more, and it's buying mines all over the world. They own Africa. They're buying up the United States. They're buying up a lot of Europe. They're doing business with the funds. They know what they're doing. They're very, very shrewd. That's why the Chinese own all of the rare earth minerals, almost all of them. 2% the U.S. has, a little bit. And the U.S. has not really increased gold reserves, but it could. It could. And who knows how much of a lie all the statements are. So here's what's going on right now. I don't know if you've noticed, but Digix DAO has caught, well, I'm sure you have because I've talked about it, has caught way more of a bid than it should. Way, way, way more of a bid than it should. Why is that? Because people want something behind the crypto, want something real, and that's what the gold is there for. Whether it really is or really isn't, I don't know. I haven't seen, but that's what the claim is. Goldview is launching in 2018. In fact, I think I already pulled that up. Let me see if I got it here. Goldview, is that it? Yeah, here's Goldview. Bitcoin, Bullion Coin, the new gold standard. Now, Bullion Coin was out there before, but apparently it's launching in 2018. Who knows how real it is? They're supposed to do one for silver and one for gold. This doesn't actually look all that crypto friendly. This kind of looks more like a gold person put it together, and they're trying to get into the crypto space. But by all accounts, they are real, and they're trying to do it. Other metals back cryptos in play. There are other coins that I'm not even familiar with that are using metals. I think this is going to be an aspect of the future. I really do. And I'll tell you why. Because the big problem we have, folks, core issue, why Bitcoin has been kicked out left and right from all kinds of merchants. A, the fees were ridiculous. B, it was too slow, unreliable, all kinds of problems. But other than that, if it goes up to 20,000 and drops down to 6,000, that's too difficult to deal with. Now, the futures are potentially helping with that, but they're really not doing a very good job as far as I can tell. At some point they may, but that's still, most retailers don't have the level of sophistication to hedge positions, and they don't want to be in that business. And it's a new thing to them. They never had to do it with dollars. So I think where we're going to be going to, the situation we're in now is that the speculative nature of cryptos has become the complete focus on cryptos. that's got some good and bad points. The good point is it brings a lot of attention. It can lead to a lot of innovation for people, creating platforms. It's bringing a lot of funding. It's bringing a lot of people. It's spreading the word. It's buzz. It's excitement. That's great, and I'm all for it. Obviously, I'm a speculator myself, but I realize that what we really want to have a material impact in the freedom of our lives and the also saving money, as I've talked about. I said if cryptos did nothing else but get the burden of taxes and administrative systems that can be done all by the blockchain and regulations that just restrict freedom every way possible. If that's all cryptos did, and they didn't increase in value, that alone would be like removing the chains and a 100-pound weight from all of our shoulders. It really, really would. Because as I said, right off the top, you'd get a 30% pay increase. If you want to start a business, you don't have to file forms. You don't have to apply for licenses. You just go. Well, that would lead to a birth of economic activity and creativity. It would be mind-boggling. Well, that's what the potential for cryptos is. I know a lot of people don't talk about it that way, but I will continue talking about it that way because that's the way I see it, and I think it's the single greatest value of cryptos, not the fact that you can move money. That's helpful. It absolutely is, and it's one layer of it, but the bigger picture is to liberate each of us to achieve our highest human potential without anybody getting in our way. That's it in a nutshell. It was good to hear the founder of Steam and BitShares, and really a helper on Ethereum, a guy by the name of Dan Larimer. He said almost the exact same thing. He really did. He sounds just like that, and that's what EOS is. The basis for EOS is. But so the speculative nature has become really the main thing, has become the main driver, and we really want to move away from that a little bit because what we need is relative price stability, and no currency really has that yet. None. For a while there, Bitcoin didn't do too badly, but then it spiked up and now it's dropped all over the place. Litecoin is actually doing a little bit better, but still it went from 45 to 300, back down to 120, up to 150. It's a lot of movement, BitBay is introducing, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, but a couple of coins